Hi, just done a pre-fit of the tank. One last modification just to make things simple. This sidewall here, instead of being dead straight, basically I've come up just past the low pressure pump insert and I've angled it at about, it's about a 9-degree angle. Reason being, on the sides, machined the flat plates during a simple cycle, so they're ready for welding the low pressure brackets to it. Those in the inserts there, so that's how I come. Reason being, I wanted to try and obviously maximise that cheese wedge shape, get as much fuel in there as possible, but when it comes to packaging, occasionally I have to make a minor sacrifice. My conundrum was the filler pipe, and obviously had to get the filler pipe. That's about as close as high as I can do it from the side. Doing it at the back is going to be pretty impossible now because the oil tank's going to pretty much sit on the rib bulkhead. So it's going to have to come from the side, which basically means instead of having a filler tube that's quite high up, it's going to be a reasonable amount down inside the tank. Not a problem for filling. I just connect a small vent tube between here and the top of the tank, put a threaded bung in there so I can just come out with a fitting and level it off. What it does mean is I have a structure, I have an amount of aluminium sticking outside the tank. So as I'm putting the tank in, yet again I've tried my best to try and keep all the fittings and stuff flush with the sides so that I can keep the sides far out. The filler neck was the next one. I could have done another insert and basically brought that in and then made this either a threaded insert into the side, or made it a bolt-on kind of piece like they are, but I decided to keep it simple, stupid, as they say, so I'm going to keep an ordinary style tube, nice and simple, and just weld it on. What that necessitates is to getting the tube, when you first lift the tank up, into this triangle here first. So you can imagine the tank, instead of just going up, the tank now has to come over an angle, come up here, so this tube can get into this triangle. So instead of the tank going up squarely, it'll go up at about a 10 or 15 degree angle, go in, then we'll push the tube up into the thing and then lever the tank up. But obviously levering the tank up means that this top corner here of the tank would have hit the base of the chassis there. So basically what I've done is I've come up, say just past the insert at this point there, and bent it in. So as I'm raising this into the tube on that side, basically the top of the tank here doesn't hit the base of the chassis. So I've lost, I don't know, something, half a litre, third of a litre, whatever, of fuel by banging that in. It's obviously at the top, so it's the smallest amount of loss because it just becomes down to a small triangle. But it does make it simple, and therefore easy and no machining required, just a bit of bending. I think jobs are good, and so after deciding on that, I thought I'll try and lift the back of the car up and slot the tank in. So with the mod, she's almost finished. I left this lip here long. I knew it was just awkward to bend something with a very small lip, so I made it 25mm long to do a bend on, but I'm going to have to cut it back. As you can see, the ends here, the sides are already made, so they've only got about a 10mm rise vertically before we come in the angle, so I chopped that out to get it in. But now I'll cut this back to the right height, and I've just got to take about 10mm off the top of here. I'm a little bit just too tight there, I don't like it, so I'll come down 10mm on here, chop along, and also the side pieces just re-angle that so there's slightly Slightly more room, allows me to put some foam around it, so it's just I need to be realistic and try and get foam all around the tank so it's not touching the chassis at any point, but also keeps it snug, etc, etc. So I didn't really want to alter things too much, but I'm going to have to now because I'm just making it everything too big. So anyway, so fuel tank pretty much prototyped, as they say. I'll hopefully get in contact with the welder tomorrow or the day after and drop it off and start to get him to weld up. And what it will basically weld is what you see there, with obviously the ribs and the side pieces on. I'll have to turn a small bung, say for the return on this side, and I've got to cut out yet for the internal swirl pot for the 2 high pressure fittings that'll come out the back of the tank. I'll do that in the morning and hopefully drop it off in the afternoon, and then we'll see how long it takes to get that done, get that back. And I've got the foam to fill the tank with. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for the sender to arrive, so I've got to weld the sender pot in. But the sender pot itself, well, basically just another 3-inch tube that'll sit kind of here somewhere. It'll stick out past the bulkhead, so this bulkhead behind the passenger will have to have a joggle in it, but will allow me then, if I ever have a problem with the sender, then I can remove a panel and pull the sender basically out of the fuel tank from that position without taking the tank out, obviously. So, which would be nice. You want to have to remove the fuel tank if I don't have to, which is why I can remove the pumps and the sender without really affecting anything. Right, there we go. Rambling on. Speak to you soon.